everybody. Hey. Welcome to Tea Time. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm glad you did. I'm sure you will be too by the time this segment ends. Remember, it's your story, our conversation with a cuppa. Right now, for this segment, it's a bit different because I'm going to be joined with two very special guests. But you see, as the program goes on. Joined here with my second special guest. Her name is Desiree. Desiree, just say hello to everybody for me.
Hello, everybody.
That's great. It's lovely to have you here. How was your day? How was it getting here?
I've had the longest day,
but
it's been good. It's been a really good, constructive day.
That's good.
Yeah, it's just a really nice day today.
That's lovely. The weather's in your favour as well. You're wearing white and blue. You know, nice calm
beautiful
colours.
Day. Yeah.
I love it. So for those at home who are not exactly sure of what you do or who you are, give us a bit of a background story. Who you are, what you do, and just family, if anything.
Okay. My name's Desiree. I'm a twin. I have a big family. I'm one of 8.
Wow.
So there's quite a lot of us.
Wow.
Yeah.
8 including your twin?
Yeah, 8 including.
Sorry, that was such a silly question.
It's me and 7 other siblings.
Yes.
Yeah. And what do? I was recently working in the property industry, which I want to get back into.
Okay.
But outside of that, I do styling on the side and planning to launch my online boutique in the next few weeks.
Ooh, exciting!
Yeah,
so Tea Time gets an exclusive for that. I love that.
Really exciting.
I love it.
So I'm just into fashion, into styling. I like to look good on a budget as well, is where I'm good. I'm the best at because we don't need to be spending a lot of money to look good.
We don't have to.
And so that's what I just like to do. I'm married. I've been married for 3.5 years now. And it's been a long journey. It's been a good journey. And I just feel like I'm just growing into a woman.
Into a woman you aspire to be.
Yes.
I love it. Now you're talking about marriage. The smile just flashed.
Yes.
Marriage. You're excited. You're giddy.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, what is the biggest challenge that you felt like you two have had to overcome in your marriage over the past 3 years?
I think the biggest challenge would obviously be when he was sick. He fell sick in the beginning of our marriage.
Tell us a bit more.
Yeah, okay, so before we were going to get married, my husband was having just tooth problems with his tooth. We just thought, wisdom tooth, just take it out. I just kept saying, go to the dentist, and he just kept prolonging it. And he finally went, and this was about 3 weeks before the wedding. And then they said, it's wisdom, we'll just remove it. But then after that, his face was swelling up.
Wow.
So I thought, okay, this seems a bit...
more than wisdom.
Yeah, exactly. So then his dentist also said, you need to go to hospital, just check out, because this seems like something's wrong here. We need to do a biopsy. And then the day before the wedding, I remember it was a Friday, the day before, they said it was a tumour. And when he called me, I said...
How did that make you feel a day before the wedding? I mean, you've been planning your wedding, a girl's special day. That's a day everyone looks up forward to.
I had planned it, especially finding a partner finally, because, I wanted to wait for the right one. We were patient. We were faithful to each other, faithful to God. And the day before, when everything should be, you should be relaxing, yes,
and you'll be thinking, God, I prayed, we've waited, we were faithful.
We were doing everything in the way of God, everything the way God wanted. Planned everything, and then the day before he called me because I was at work, and he said, Desiree said it's a tumour. I said, and I literally went, what did you say? And he said it was a tumour, and I was quite in denial first because I was like, okay, but they didn't say cancer, so I was just trying to okay, it's fine, don't worry. So they said it's nothing major, just go on your honeymoon for 2 weeks, and when you come back we can operate, because by that time it wasn't that big. The wedding came now. It was the best day of my life. It was amazing. My sister was crying the whole time. She was crying the whole day. Look at her face. Yeah, she was crying the whole day because it's emotional, and it was just such a happy day. It was such a happy day. But what people didn't know is that my husband was in a lot of pain for the whole day. So he was taking paracetamol, ibuprofen the whole day just to reduce the pain. So then we went on holiday to Egypt, and within 3 days the tumour had grown to the size of a grapefruit on the side of his face, and it was horrible. I'm going to be honest, it wasn't the honeymoon that I've always longed for. My first holiday with him, our first holiday away, it's our time, to get to know each other, and it was just...
Not that.
It wasn't that at all. He had mouth ulcers, he couldn't eat, his breathing even started to to worsen because the tumor was growing so to the back of his. It was a nightmare. And I even remember one night he was trying to sleep and I was on the floor like, God, what is going on? But I just kept saying, you know, just I believe that you can. At the same time we were going through that, I said, I believe you can set him free, you can heal him, because I believe that his word, I believe that he could do that today. So we weren't as worried because we're just trying to stay positive.
Sorry, Desiree, you just said you weren't as worried. Sitting here, I mean, I'm not going through it, but just sitting here listening to you, I will be all sorts of worried, all sorts of panicking.
Do you know what it is? The thing is, we're human, so we are going to feel like that.
Definitely.
But I just had to just go against how I'm feeling.
You had to be strong.
Yeah, you just have to go against those feelings and just think, you need to just go by faith, because if we go by how you're feeling, you're just going to sink so low. And so we just fast forwarded. So then we got back, so we had to fly back early and obviously get emergency flights. And it was the next day that they confirmed that it was high-grade cancer. And we were both there. We looked at each other and then we said, really? We literally went, really? And we were still so shocked that we didn't, I feel like it hadn't sunk in yet. So then they said we need to do chemotherapy in the next 2 weeks, and it's going to be for at least 6 months, and so it will mean that he'll be in the hospital for 3 days, home for 10 days, hospital for 3 days, home for at least 6 months. I said, this is not my life. This is not my life. I just got married. Yeah. So the time that it was hard was when the dates were coming for the chemo. But every day we were waking up, every hour praying, we were fasting, we were doing everything that we could possibly do, and said, God, we can't do anything. There's nothing we could do. Yeah. And families obviously were distraught. His family, his parents, friends were just like, they couldn't, because he's so healthy. He's young. He was young, he's fit, he was riding to work, running to work, eating healthy. He's never been sick. So everyone around was quite worried, but we just had to just try and just...
Sorry, Desiree, one thing that sticks out to me the most of the story you're telling is you say we. Even in your I was crying out, you always referred back to we. So would you say that was your strongest point? That's what made your faith or your assurance stronger, the fact that you and your husband were both together? Yeah. Because as young people, something like this can tear a relationship apart.
Exactly.
You know, we all take things differently. The way you might take something is different from the way anybody else watching at home.
Yeah.
So would you say that was your rock, that was your comfort?
Yes, I think at that time we both just had each other, and remembering that the vows that I made was through sickness and through health. And naturally that your mind, there's so many the thoughts that came in my head during that time, because
you're not even telling me the thoughts are running through my head.
And then the thoughts there were so many thoughts like you know, because he didn't look the same, and that's another thing. You going into marriage with someone, it's not just about the looks, because if it was...
It's not fleeky makeup, guys, okay?
It's not, do you know what I mean? Because obviously he had a tumour on the side of his face, and obviously after having the surgery, he doesn't look the same, but thank God it's him that I love, do you know what I mean? And during that time...
It's him that you love, it's him that you love, I love it.
And during that time, we literally just had each other, and I realised the vows that I made wasn't just for me to say, you know, I'm going to love you through this. It's now I'm actually going to have to put these vows into practice. Because I could say, I will love you through this, but now I need to prove that I will. And it wasn't easy because he was off work as well, so financially as well, it was difficult. So, but the hardest point for me, I would say, was when, so long story cut short, we were supposed to start the chemo, but obviously we're praying. Then the day that he was supposed to go and start the chemo, this was the hand of God. I don't doubt it at all. I was at work, I couldn't get the day off, and so he went with his bag, ready to sign. And in my head, I'm just like, God, take control of everything. In my head, I still said, God, even though to this day it wasn't what I planned, because obviously I didn't want him to do chemo, but let your will be done. So he called me. I said, hello, I don't expect no call. He called me and said, Desiree, I don't need to do chemo anymore. I said, James, what are you talking about? And he was like,
this is the part of church where the aunties go, everybody blow your trumpet. It
was that moment. It was actually that moment. And I was like, what? And I just said, you need to explain. And then because basically that week prior to the chemo, you have to have scans taken of your whole body from head to toe. So every day we're in the hospital, scan here, scan here, scan here, just to make sure your body can take the chemo and what kind of chemo,
The
all
procedures.
that. Yeah. And then so he called me, said I had to take chemo, and I was like, what happened? And they said, so the results came back on that morning of all the scans. And the high grade cancer has gone down to low grade and it's stagnant. It's not aggressive, because it was aggressive. That's why it was growing so fast. It was aggressive and it's stagnant. We could just operate and remove the tumour. I remember I was at work like, Jesus, like, and all he had to do was just have a operation
to take the tumour out,
and that's it. And then, but that was the hardest time, because his surgery alone was 19 hours. And I remember it was overnight, so I was at home and I couldn't sleep because I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, you know,
your heart, you're anxious.
Everything went well, and then so after that he was in hospital for almost 2 months, and this was just before Christmas, and that was the hardest time, because I couldn't sleep in the hospital. So I was home alone, and my family were there, but sometimes when you go through things you just want to be by yourself. So I was going to work, going to church, then going to the hospital, going to work, going to church, hospital, every single day. I was tired, and it was so hard, because when I was alone, that's when so many of the thoughts and the feelings were coming. Why us? Why me? Why my husband? We haven't done anything wrong. God, what is happening? Like, what is?
And I think as human beings, the first thing that comes to us when disappointment or any kind of roadblock comes is, what have I done wrong? Like, what have I done wrong? And sometimes it's just not, it's not what, we haven't done anything wrong, it's just, it just happens.
It just happens, because the thing is, and it took me a while to realise, because I remember there were times, I don't know if you know in the movies, when they cry, like, they throw themselves to the wall and they cry and they go down slowly from the wall to the floor.
I watched too many movies.
That was me. I remember going slowly down to the floor, crying like, God, please help me. There were times I was in my bed and I just finished the whole tub of ice cream. God, please, like, why is this? Because even though you're trying to stay strong, you're in a situation that you just wish you wouldn't be in. You just wish you wouldn't be in. So for me, that was very hard. And at that time, I had to be selfless as a wife. I couldn't think about myself, my needs, what I wanted, our next plans, our next holiday that I wanted to go on, my next shopping spree. I couldn't think about those things. I had to think about making sure that my husband was better. And so after that, he was off work for some time. So that was another hurdle. So it was just my income coming in, which was very hard. I had a shopping problem at that time as well. I was actually addicted to buying things.
We're girls, okay, girl.
But listen, mine was a whole
nother level.
Yeah, it really was a problem. It was really a problem. So there was just so many hurdles that we had to jump over, and there were times I felt like, why must it be so hard for us? And then you start to look at others.
Married.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you look at others and you think, why is it so easy for them? They didn't have to think. Their husband ain't sick. Their husband still got a good job.
The compare and contrast and goes on.
You start thinking, you know, this person's on holiday, you can't go on holiday. Or this happened, oh, you can't. And then you just start feeling that. But then you just have to wake yourself up and be like, that's their marriage. I need to make sure. It's not important, as long as. And during that time, I think that's when we got even closer. Because I was able to show him truly how much I loved him. And so it was a journey. It was a hard journey, but we got through it. And now he's well, he's fine. He didn't have to do no chemo, no radiotherapy up to now.
Wow.
And he's clear. He hasn't got no cancer anymore.
That is amazing.
So
that is amazing. When I asked for a challenge, I was thinking maybe we had to get over, you know, finances or so. You opened the whole book for me. That was amazing. Your story is amazing. The question I was actually going to ask you after that was, what factors come to play when developing a sustainable relationship? But I feel like from your story, we picked out enough factors anyway to even think about. And thank you so much for sitting here on this couch and sharing your story with me. Girl, you're beautiful, you're strong, you are amazing, amazing woman, amazing example to young people that relationship goals are not the Instagram pictures, it's not what you see, it's actually what you are going through and how you're sorting it between you and your husband, or you and BAE, as we say nowadays. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned one or two things from Desiree, and we'll see you soon. We're going to see you in the next segment. We'll see you soon. Just wave and say bye to them.
Bye.
Bye. See you later. Hello everybody, hey. Welcome to Tea Time. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm sure you're going to enjoy what you're yet to see. Remember, it's your story, our conversation with a cuppa. But firstly, I'm here today with Simi. Just say hello to everybody for me.
Hey everyone.
This is Simi, wonderful, beautiful Simi. Simi, I'm just going to start by asking you, how has your day today been? How is it getting here, you know?
Today's been really good, thank God. Getting here was interesting. So as I mentioned to the team before, my phone broke. So I had to get from Dagenham to Greenwich with no sat nav. And I was just like, Lord, I don't know how to do this. The days of A to Z are gone, but I made it here, so.
That's great. That's what matters, that you made it here safely. At the end of it, that's all that counts. So today we'll actually be talking about like goals and relationships. We want to hear your perspective and your opinions on what the topic is. Actually, let me start by asking, what do you do?
What do I do?
Yes, so for the people who are not sure, who are not sure of you at home, what do you do? Explain yourself to them. Give us a bit about your background.
Okay, so my name's Simi. I'm married to an amazing man. We've been married for 2 years now, or 2 years in August. I work full time as a project officer. My aim is to grow within the project management field. I'm a part of a ministry called Flowing Rivers, and it's just been amazing serving there and just being a part of what God is doing there. We have a big passion at the moment for helping orphans in Kenya, and really just, you know, trying to help them and just, you know, be a part of what God is doing with them. I also have a YouTube channel called, oh my God, I'm so sorry guys, stuttering.
No, never mind, just go, flow.
I also have a YouTube channel called Courtship and Beyond, which focuses on relationships and encouraging young people, or just Christians in general, to go about their relationships in a godly manner.
That's wonderful. You wear many hats, so ministry, project officer work, and also having a YouTube channel. Right, I was going to ask you, where did you and your husband meet? Give us like a bit of a brief background story.
My husband and I met at a friend's church. So prior to the time we actually met, he had seen me around at like different church events, youth events, and he had told one of my friends, I like that girl. I don't know who she is, but she's Peg. I want to meet her.
She's Peg and Peg Ling Ling.
Can you imagine? So one day I went to my friend's church event, and my dad insisted on dropping me there, which he never ever does. On the way there we got lost, and I was like, do you know what, Dad, it's cool, like let's just go home. He's like, no, I'm taking you. So he took me, dropped me there, and that was the day that I met Joan. And we started talking. He asked me questions about singing, because at the time I was in the choir, and he's like, oh, would you sing at this event for me? And I was like, I don't know. Okay, cool. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna need your number to contact you regarding the event. So we exchanged numbers, and literally the rest is history. We started talking, became my best friend, and then 5 years later we got married.
That is so beautiful. Even when you talk about him, you can see you're still feeling a bit.
He's amazing.
And you know, they always say that the first 2 years of marriage are the hardest, and yours is coming up to 2 years now. What do you feel about that statement, having been in yours for 2 years, having been married for 2 years?
I feel like marriage is what you make it. We were prepared very, very well in marriage counselling. We were told that in the first 5 years of marriage, you're still learning each other. If there are disagreements or arguments, don't get offended. It's part of the growing process. So we went in with that mindset, and we enjoy it. Each and every day we enjoy it. Yes, there are disagreements, but there are even more moments where we're having fun with each other, enjoying each other. And I think when you're busy doing purpose, walking in purpose, doing what God has called you to do together, it just makes life so much more enjoyable, and you don't have time to go through. There's no time for that. So it's been really good, really, really good.
That's lovely. I'm so happy to hear that. When we were talking earlier, you mentioned something, and I caught into that in my head. I thought I'm definitely going to ask you that in the interview. You said you complement each other.
Right.
What ways? Give me just a couple of examples on how you and your husband complement each other.
So in terms of our personalities?
Yes, personalities or anything.
Okay, so I would say, in as much as we have many similarities, we have a lot of opposites.
Definitely, you're two different people, it's expected.
So our opposites very literally complement each other. My husband's very outgoing and bubbly. I can be quite reserved and composed. And in the times when I'm feeling shy, he will be the one to speak up. But then there are times when he's feeling quite reserved and doesn't really want to be out there, and I'll be the one to speak up. He's such an optimist, which is amazing. And there are certain situations where I'm like, okay, how are we going to work this out? I can't see how we're going to get through this. I'm focused on the details, whereas he's very much bigger picture. This is how we're going to get through it. And I feel like that really balances each other, because yes, it's important to consider the bigger picture, but we also need to know the details, and together it works. yeah, so that's one of the ways that we complement each other. Both like to have fun. We're both nerds.
Of course, we like to have fun.
We have the same birthday, so like there's just so
when's
many
your
little
birthday?
things. April the 1st.
Oh.
We're not fools.
no, don't worry. I wasn't even thinking that. I was trying to figure out star signs. Don't worry. Every time someone tells me their birthday, every day, what is your star sign? What is your star sign? But yeah, I was gonna also ask you, what are the tips you have for people who aspire, young people, normal people who aspire to get married?
I guess the biggest influence and factor in our relationship or in our marriage, and it might sound very cliche, but it is the fundamental, and that's our own relationships with God. I feel like in marriage, my relationship with God has been pivotal, because there's times when God is literally instructing me on how to behave, or if I've said something that I shouldn't have, I will literally feel that conviction. I'll be like, okay, go back and sort that out, or maybe you could do this a different way. And I feel like we both have to have that to hold on to. Otherwise we'll be relying on each other.
Definitely.
And if you rely on a person solely, you will drain them. We weren't made to
like you.
we weren't made to, you know, rely on another human being. We're made to rely on God. And I feel like that has been one of the most key things in our relationship. So definitely get a relationship with God. Ensure you're growing, not just going to church. Like ensure you have an active relationship with God, where God can speak to you about the person that you're considering. You know, people saying, oh yeah, I want this person, I want that person, but it's like, what was the last thing God said to you? How do you know if they're the right person?
But then I get that, and I totally agree. But then how do you help people who find it hard to hear, people who are not sure? Because sometimes I've been in a situationship where I'm going, God, give me a sign. God, do this, God, do that. Maybe I'll be looking at the bus going past, maybe I'll see a Bible scripture on it that will say this is the guy that you're supposed to marry, or maybe run away. How do you explain for people who just feel like they can't hear?
God has given us intelligence, we have wisdom, and I feel like in scripture there are guidelines in how to choose a person. Scripture mentions things like don't be unequally yoked. Having someone that loves God, having someone that knows what they're about in life, someone that knows their purpose, someone that is working and being active, someone that is, you know, busy in what God has called them to do, someone that is not just there being a bum sitting around doing nothing, but someone that has a direction, a focus in life. When someone like that comes your way, you will kind of see, okay, does this align with where I'm going? And then you'll be able to make a decision based on that personally. You don't necessarily need to hear this voice. I didn't hear a voice of confirmation when my husband came along, but there were things that he had in him that I was like, okay, I can see this working for me. I can see us working together in this. And it was when I was speaking to one of my friends that I was telling her what I liked about him, and I was like, oh my God, this is it. Like, this is the confirmation that I needed. So there was no big voice. It was just a realization that he had all the qualities that I would like in my future husband. And I feel like when you recognize those qualities in an individual, you can, you know, what else do you want to see? What else do you want to see? So I'll say look out for the qualities and character traits that they have. Like they will reveal whether this is someone that you should be aligned with or not.
Thank you so much, Simi. It was lovely having you here on the couch, speaking to you and hearing your opinions. Guys, as you said, some of us feel like we need a big voice. You don't always need that big voice. Just focus on your own relationship with God, and He will lead you through, He'll guide you through your fears. Do you have any more advice in terms of relationships or anything else you want to say to young people at home?
Just in terms of the whole relationship goals thing, I think there are 3 principles that a couple should have to be considered relationship goals, and I think the first principle is that principles.
I love that. I was like, principles.
The reason why I say principles is because every couple is unique, so principles are generic. Do you know what I mean? But the first principle is that you should be excelling in your own sphere of influence, whether it's in your workplace, your career, like whatever you're doing in life, you should be excelling in that as an individual.
Yes, ma'am.
That's one principle. Second principle, you should be excelling in the area of your purpose. Know what you're about. Why am I here on this earth? When you're excelling in that, then we can now talk about being with somebody. And I think the third and most important principle, which I mentioned, is a couple that is pursuing God together. Once you have those 3 things, then you can be considered relationship goals. I feel like without it, you don't have much to show.
What are the goals?
You know, you can hold hands in public, you can kiss the forehead, but that doesn't mean anything if you don't have substance.
You can take Instagram pictures, Twitter, everything.
You know, and I feel like we need to look beyond what we see on Instagram and recognize there's so much more depth. It takes more than Instagram pictures to build a happy home, a happy marriage, which is the destination. So yeah, recognizing that there's more.
It's like you're reading some of my questions off my paper and you're just answering them, but that was amazing. I love the 3 principles. Guys, as you've heard it from Simi herself, take them on, please. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you in my next one. Stay tuned. See ya. It's just wait for them. See you later. Next time on Tea Time.
His phone was off, couldn't get through to him. So I was like, this is strange, because you know when you have a partner, you know you talk to them all the time.